Good morning, good afternoon, good day to all of you, wherever this webinar finds you today. Thank you so much, first of all, for joining us, for your time. We really appreciate it. We know, this is a lunchtime, just out from lunch break, so really appreciate you taking the time to log in on today. And we look forward to sharing some top tips and some practical, actionable examples with you on how to best leverage digital tools to build and strengthen your global marketing strategy. Now, we know we've all had far too many online and calls and Zoom meetings over the last few years, the last few days. So we're really trying to keep this webinar to 45 minutes. We have a very packed agenda, which I'll share with you in a moment. But we want to keep some time for the Q&A at the end. So I really encourage everyone to drop in your questions throughout the sections. And then our team in the background will then collate the questions, and we'll have a 10-15 minutes at the end with all of our speakers to try and answer as many questions as we possibly can. If you have a question that's very specific, do drop it in anyway. If we don't get to answer it today, we'll follow up with you after the webinar via email. So any question is welcome. I can see that we have a few more people logging on. We'll give them a couple of minutes. So while the last of us are logging in, I just wanted to take a moment to do a quick round of introduction for today. My name is Jo Lazzarotto. I'm the Marketing Director with IBT Online, and I'm thrilled today to be joined by my colleague, Rita Ben-Ada, and we're joined today by also Michelle Gabb, e-commerce manager at Bloommaker. Thank you so much, Michelle, and Laura Hellstone, marketing and communication at the US Commercial Service. And I'm really looking forward to hear from you all guys that are joining here today as we share experience and top tips, as I mentioned, with us today. Rita also will be sharing and taking us through some best practices and actionable takeaways for American exporters to leverage digital to grow your export sales, brand, and business domestically, internationally, globally. Before we dive into today's webinars, a quick word of introduction about IBT Online, who we are and what we do. So very briefly, since 2002, our mission has been very focused on helping America's exporters grow your exports, sales, brand, and business, as I said, globally and sustainably. And we're doing so by leveraging best practice, e-commerce and localized website, and boosting their effectiveness with cross-channel online marketing program that reach and engage the right audience in the right platform at the right time. Here is just a very quick video. With this in mind, we just want to share with you our, as we say, our ethos. Our mission is very much, we believe in local perspective, and with local we mean engaging your prospects where they want to be, whether what platform they're on, anywhere in the world, and very much across different channels, different geographies, but also different demographics, helping you reach your potential, delivering marketing programs that work, website localization piece that works. And with this, we've developed what we call our online global programs, have been built very much with this goal in mind. So today, IBT Online has the pleasure and the honor to be a strategic partner of the US Commercial Service, International Trade Administration team, and as well as over 25 US states that share our passion for helping exporters and help us, promote and distribute these online global programs that have been helping Americans businesses delivering export growth, sales growth, brand, and business growth. All of these very much just launching into today's agenda. As I mentioned, we have a very packed agenda for 45 minutes, but we're very excited to hand over to Michelle first to have a little spotlight on Bloommaker, as very much we see an American e-commerce success story, and then handing over to Rita, who's going to take us through some strategic tactics for B2B and B2C e-commerce expansion, and then handing over to Laura, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the US Commercial Services marketing communications tactics, top tips, and how to take your marketing from beginning to implementation to optimization. And as promised, we'll then have a few moments for a Q&A to answer any question that you guys have joined us might have. So I can already see the first question coming in, which is very welcome. Thank you so much, guys. But you're here to listen from them directly. So Michelle, very pleased to hand over to you. And thank you so much again for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Joelle. Good afternoon, everybody. We're excited to be here. I wanted to tell you just a little bit about who Bluemaker is so that you can understand where we come from. We might be just a little bit different to a lot of other e-commerce businesses because we ship live plants, which in itself is a very tricky thing to do. Historically, we are very large in retailers, so you can buy our hydroponic tulips and our amaryllis also in stores all over the country. We like to focus on hydroponics, so really no soil where we are. But shipping tulips, of course, is a little bit tricky because they are in glass vases with water, and we haven't quite come up with a solution how to ship those successfully all over the country without the glass breaking and the water spilling. So our founder, Joop Paternoster, traveled around America for a while in an RV to try to figure out what business model would actually suit America. He came to the conclusion that Americans are really very influenced by instant gratification. They like to have beautiful things and they like to have them immediately. So he came up with the hydroponic product in a vase so that you can take it home and you can watch it grow in your home and then have the joy of watching the beautiful blooms come along. All of this was wonderful before COVID, and as many of our lives did at that time, things changed because all of a sudden the retailers didn't have shelf space anymore for flowers and for things that weren't or that might have been considered luxury. So our flowers were not being bought by retailers because there just wasn't any shelf space. The shelf space was taken up by, cleaning products and toilet paper, as we all were very aware of. So Bluemaker quickly pivoted and decided to try the online model, as so many of us did back then. But trying to get an e-commerce program working overnight is not easy. E-commerce is a big job. If you think, oh, well, maybe 200 orders in a day. Well, 200 orders means that you have to print 200 orders. You have to print 200 packing slips. You have to print 200 shipping labels. And unless that is automated, that becomes a big chore and it's very, very labor intensive. The same paperwork that it takes to get a truck out of this facility is the same paperwork that it takes to get one box of product out to through an online shop. So there was a bit of a scramble, but there was a lot of interest in our product purchasing online. So I was introduced to come here to help set up the e-commerce piece of this business. Starting off, we didn't really have a big website. There was an informational website, but certainly no store. Of course, when you want to sell something online, you have to be able to have people find you somehow. You have to advertise. You have to make sure that when people search flowers or amaryllis, which is not a word that is very easily recognizable, I think, things like that, you have to be able to come up to compete against everybody else who's advertising all their wonderful products online. So when I got here, very quickly we had to choose a partner to help us be visible. We chose a partner just blindly because we had to do that quickly. The partner was great, as in did what the partner was supposed to do, but it was very obvious very quickly and early on that they didn't get who we were. They were writing blogs for us, though they were writing about amaryllis flowers. They were partnering that with pictures of daisies. That didn't sit very well with me because if you don't know about a product, then you should admit that and move on, educate yourself or move on. So we were actively looking for another e-commerce partner to help us market our products. And through the Valet program here in Virginia, for our retail product, really, we were put into contact with IBT. And it was extremely evident right from the get-go that these people were looking to be part of our team. They are now part of our family. They know who we are. They want to find out about our products. They are helpful. They purchase our products to watch them grow so that they really are an authority on amaryllis themselves, which is what we need, because marketing a product that you don't know about is transparent. You can see right through that. You need to believe in something that you're marketing, otherwise what you're writing and how you're presenting it is just really not effective at all. So we were drawn to IBT because they are honest and they're open and they're personable, and they never ever made us feel as if we were silly and didn't know what we were talking about. And let me tell you, there were many times that I had no idea what I was talking about, because the online industry changes all the time. The algorithms change. The things that are in vogue change. The people want to watch videos, and then tomorrow they don't want to watch videos anymore. And when you're running an online program and are trying to get boxes out of the door, there isn't time to do that yourself. So honestly, I would highly, highly recommend finding an online partner and a marketing partner that you can trust, that gets you, and that can help you in the areas that you fall short on. Because there's just no way for one person to know everything about every subject. So my approach is, we will do what we do best and hire people and partner with people who know what we need done, but they have the knowledge to do that the best way. Finding somebody like IBT is, as a partner, is really twofold. It's somebody who you can bounce ideas off of, somebody who you can talk to about situations that have happened, addressing things that I'm getting questions about. IBT was very quick to put those into infographics or into videos or into items that we could share with our customers to educate them, because something like an amaryllis that not many people are aware of at all really does mean that you have to educate the end user. The flowers look beautiful, but when the package arrives at your home, there are no blooms on there. The bulbs look pretty funky, and sometimes, like, really, this is supposed to produce blooms? I mean, I have lots of phone calls where people say, I'd like to return this. Why would you like to return it? Well, there's no flower. So it became very evident that we have to be like a hand-holding company, making sure that our customers understand that the joy in having our product in their homes is actually the whole process. The watching it from that funky bulb into growing, sometimes up to 2 inches a day, and watching that flower emerge. And then not just one flower, but each stem has 4 to 6 flowers. And then when you think it's done, another stem comes up. So it's exciting. And we are in the business of spreading joy. And that is what we want to have our customers feel as well. It's completely contrary to the instant gratification, because there is no instant flower, but it's the be patient and watch and wait and have a look and see what happens. And IBT helped us with those kinds of things. Sometimes videos are the way to go. They are the way to educate. We want to be the authority on amaryllis. And that means that we need to be able to educate and answer questions about our product all the time to everybody and meet people where they are. Just like IBT met me where I was when I didn't know what I was talking about, we need to do that for our customers too. And IBT helps us to do that. They take all the mystery out of the equation. We don't have to worry about what comes next. They bring the ideas to us. They bring the marketing trends to us. One of the things that is also very important is that you know what your competitors are doing. Why are people purchasing their product instead of our product? How are people looking for your product? Are they using words like amaryllis? Probably not if they don't know what it is. So what other catchphrases and keywords are there to use? There are just so many things to think about when you're doing an online marketing program. And like I said, it's too overwhelming to try to do it yourself when you're trying to get product out of the door, which is, our focus here. There's a lot of research that goes into this. Things that are very obvious to me because I grew up on a farm and I'm a gardener are very clearly not obvious to other people. And I'll share just a little anecdotal story with you to make this clear. So like I said, I'm a farm girl. We grew up on a farm. We grew our own food. And my cousin came to visit here in America one time. And she grew up in the city. And she asked me what she could do to help. So I said, the carrots are ready in the garden. Would you mind picking them for me? So this afternoon when I came home from work, we can peel them and cook them and freeze them. I came home after work and there were no carrots in the kitchen. So I looked at her and I said, was there a problem? Why are there no carrots? And she looked at me and she said, I'm terribly embarrassed to admit this, Michelle, but I walked into the garden and I couldn't find the carrot tree. And it dawned on me that, so she's my cousin. I think that I know she's related to me, and I just think, well, you need to know what a carrot is. But having grown up in the city, she had never grown carrots. She had never witnessed carrots being harvested, so she didn't know. So I make very sure that I don't make assumptions. Just because I know doesn't mean that everybody else knows. And that is what IBT helps us do, is to educate people about what I know and take for granted. And that's not what everybody knows. So, life is part of just being educated in all different fields. And our interests might change, but, we have to meet our customers there where they are. So that's just what I try to do on a daily basis. It helps cut down on questions that I might become irritated with because they asked again and again and again. So, when I have questions like that over and over again, I get to speak to IBT to say, hey, could we do a little presentation about how to plant an amaryllis, because people don't know that. Not because they're ignorant, but because they just haven't ever been interested in that and haven't been exposed to that. So that's what we try to do. Anyway, so I was just going to go over a little bit of recommendations, I think, from my point of view. If you're starting out completely new, it is a very daunting task to start an e-commerce program from scratch. There are so many moving parts that go with it. You need to be able to know who are the people who are interested in your product. Is there a part of the population who you think should be interested, but who has evidently never purchased anything from you? For example, people who purchase flowers, who are those people? Well, generally it's people that have more money than they can spend in a month, or who know about and are interested in gardening. But for me, for example, I have college-age children, and they started becoming interested in the amaryllis. And I thought, well, it is probably something that is great, because our waxed amaryllis doesn't need any water, doesn't need any care, doesn't need anybody to have a green thumb. So college kids do like flowers, but often they don't know how to take care of them. And gifting somebody a waxed amaryllis to put in their dorm room is just a wonderful thing. It's exciting, it's refreshing, it teaches them about the growth cycle of plants, but yet they don't have to do anything. If they decide to party all weekend and don't have time to water a plant, that doesn't matter, because the amaryllis doesn't need any watering. So, you open up different segments of the population to help you, or to whom you might want to market your product. And IBT can help with that, can run analytics to see who are the people who are engaging with us, who's the group that is not engaging with us and should possibly be engaging, different marketing strategies to different segments of the population. You need to put aside money to spend on advertising and on marketing. Unfortunately, nowadays, there's nothing for nothing. If you want your product to be seen, you have to spend money on it. That was very daunting to me because I thought as a new program there wasn't money in the budget. But after discussing the budget with IBT, I found out that you don't have to start advertising on television and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars getting that advertising campaign ready. There are options to do advertising on social media and on something like Pinterest and writing blogs and things that is affordable. You can spend as much or as little money as you'd like to spend. Making sure that your search words come up, using Google and Amazon and things like that to advertise your product, that's affordable. It's not out of price range. But make sure that you've set your budget that is affordable to you and speak to your partner. In our case, IBT, we very graciously managed to find ways to spend our money that met our budget. Then make sure that you find the right partner. A right partner is somebody who gets you, who understands you, who has interest in your product, who doesn't put daisy pictures with your amaryllis when they write about amaryllis. And it's okay to take time to find correct partners. In our case, we had a partner first. I knew that I couldn't stick with them. It's not right or wrong. They met my expectations at that time, but I needed more. And then it's okay to find somebody else who does get you. I encourage you to don't give up. Make sure that you reach out and that you interview and that you talk to and find partners that you are comfortable with and who can be helpful, who you don't feel as if when you're calling them to say, hey, I don't get this or I don't understand this, or so do you think we could do this, that meet you where you are and don't make you feel as if your request is a bother. It's just very, very important to do that to be successful. I think that's probably about all I need to say. If you have any questions, please let me know. And again, IBT is a great partner for us, and I'm very privileged to be on this webinar. Thank you for inviting me.
Michelle, thank you so much for the kind word and for all of you've shared. We really, really appreciate you taking the time. And Michelle knows it. I mention all the time, the product is fantastic for someone like me who has zero gardening skills, and yet I've managed to have some fantastic flowers. So it is very much all very accurate, but really, really kind. And thank you so much for sharing your journey and your challenges, as well as what you guys have learned and your recommendations. I can see I've had a few questions coming in, so we'll save them for the Q&A. And I know the team is working in the background to collate them and kind of try and put them together so then we can all answer them. Before we move to the next session, I just wanted to pick on something that Michelle, you mentioned, and I find really interesting. That kind of aligns with what we've been hearing, time and time again, as you say, about educating your audiences and how a picture speaks 1,000 words and a video speaks 100,000 words, because you have that 30 seconds, 1 minute. So we've, again, had the privilege to work with Michelle and the Bluemaker team to develop a video marketing program. And I know that there is a poll for us just to launch really quickly before we move on to the next session, just to see if there was anyone in the audience today, if you want to learn a little bit more about video marketing, how this can help you, increase return on investment, direct sales, but also brand recognition, and again, help educate that audience. Do let us know. We have a dedicated program, and we'd love to share Michelle's story in particular, other stories of America's e-commerce, B2B and B2C e-commerce successes, whether it's domestic or international, and how we can leverage video localized, repurposing of videos on social media, all of what Michelle has talked about. We'd love to hear if there is anyone that wants to hear more. So I can see that there is a few more responding coming in. I'm conscious of time as well. I am going to close the poll, or ask the team to close the poll. And then again, big thanks to Michelle, and I'll hand over to Rita to talk us through some tactics for B2B and B2C marketing expansion.
Perfect. Thank you, Joelle, and Michelle as well for your great presentation. So as Joelle mentioned here, we'll be talking about strategic marketing tactic for both B2B and B2C with different case studies as examples. Okay, so let's start with AI. As we all know, AI has been a huge thing lately, and the need for online business tools is accelerating. It's more and more vital, and it's becoming more complex as well. So online tools are more expected everywhere and seeping into our everyday behaviors. So generative AI, whether we like it or not, is affecting people's experience of the internet from transactional to personal. AI will touch every part of the process. Buyers and clients will look to AI to help them address their needs. So finding products, identifying their needs is the first place in the first place, and this applies to both B2B as well as B2C. Social media has evolved from a place of social interactions with friends to a place where brands can further engage their customers in shopping experiences. So now customers can immediately buy what they see without leaving an app or a platform, making it easier than ever to turn a want into a purchase. So social commerce, which means selling via social media, is currently at $500 billion and expected to triple by 2025, reaching $1.2 trillion. So what does the future of selling looks like for businesses? So the future of sales is therefore a digital first approach. Front and foremost, companies should be online with digital solutions. That means that the local buyers in Mexico, in the Caribbean, in Central America, etc., can find you easily. If we look at the slides, although all of this have changed in the last 10 years, the major influence is everything is done online now, and the benchmark for convenience is way higher. The entire marketing funnel can occur online for a consumer, and when they purchase, they expect extreme convenience. Practically, this means a few things. So your online presence must be high quality. Your website design and ease of use is no longer an advantage, it's a bare minimum requirement. Mobile accessibility is a requirement. Online buying is a requirement. Clear and easy cataloging of your products and services and transparent pricing are requirements. Customers are used to Google, Airbnb, Amazon, and seamless experiences. So those are the expected users' experience right now. Customers, they don't need to buy from you. They can literally flip to another website easily if they cannot find what they want quickly, because it's so easy to search and compare. There's a very little friction to switch between you and the competitor. You need to meet baseline expectation, then highlight your differentiators clearly. So one of the key challenges that companies are facing today is increased competition. Increased competition means price pressure, difficulty in hiring good staff, in attracting good distributors, etc. So what I would like to show you is an interesting chart that shows that there are 1.92 billion shoppers worldwide, and less 12% than 12% of them are in the United States. So that tells us that basically it's very important to consider other countries outside of the USA, because there are plenty of opportunities out there. Then in here, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the buyer persona. So whether it's Mexico or Canada or any of your target international markets, before you start your online marketing or building your international website, you have to think about your buyer persona. What is important to note is how your Canadian and Mexican buyer persona can differ from your US persona. On these slides are a few questions you should ask yourself. Is my Canadian Mexican buyer different from my US buyer? If so, you want your website to resonate with the local buyer persona. So that's an example from L'Oreal USA. There's a subtle message here from L'Oreal USA. The main hero image of the homepage shows professional women and its urban contemporary scene, and the women are all on the top floor of the building, all busy at work, all obviously with great hair, as it's L'Oreal after all. And then we have L'Oreal Mexico, which resonates more with the Mexican market. It's still an urban city, but perhaps more relaxed and has men in the picture too. And that also more of a team approach as they are all gathered together. And then finally, we have L'Oréal Canada, and that shows to emphasize on diversity, very modern, urban look, which recalls Canada's diverse, young, and educated population. So this reflects that L'Oréal is aware of its international buyer and has chosen these images to resonate with their buyers. And then here I have listed the 10 criteria that we use to determine a localized website. So note that language is just one criteria. So as important is your domain name, the hosting, the regulatory environment. A lot goes into your localized website in order for search engine to find it relevant to your prospective customers so that you'll be found, be understood, and be easy to do business with. Hosting, for example, if you're not hosted optimally, then your website is too slow to bother with. So if you want good up and download speed times, then you need to think about hosting. Here, let me explain with an example. So Canada and the US are pretty similar countries. But when it comes to buying stuff online, there are differences between Canadians and American shoppers. You need to understand these differences. It's not just about how they order things or get them delivered, but also about the words they use and their habits. For example, a Canadian might expect different shipping options than someone from the US. Knowing these differences helps online businesses provide a better experience for customers in both countries. So to do this, businesses need to do their homework. They have to research what people in each country like and how they behave online. By doing this, they can make smart decisions about how and how to sell their products and make sure everyone is happy. So I want to talk to you about a company called Oscoware. This is one of our clients. So they make grill toppers. They actually invented the grill toppers and they face a big problem. So similar products are being sold cheaper elsewhere. So putting pressure on their prices, so to tackle this issue, they decided to create a powerful website to focus on marketing to build their brand awareness. They realized that the best way to deal with the price competition was to make sure people knew about their brand and what makes their products special. So they focused on building a strong, unique brand presence to stand out from the competition. And that's another example as well that we have here is Armor. So it's a company based in Michigan. So they do something that might seem ordinary. They wrap products to prevent rust, but they don't want to be seen as just another industrial company. They want customers to know that real people are behind their work and they generally care about quality. So to make it easy for customers to buy from them, they've made the e-commerce website simple, clean, and well organized. This way, it's easy for clients to find what they need and place their orders hassle-free. So they focus on creating a personal connection with their brand, emphasizing the people behind the products, which sets them apart from the competition. And then here, another example as well that I'd like to share, that's another perspective. So that's a trend actually that we're seeing a lot lately, is that companies building e-commerce website, but directing customers to their local partners for order fulfillment. The company here is Amso. They're based in Wisconsin, and they produce synthetic oil. They have distributors worldwide, but they want to maintain that control over the marketing and brand. So they handle the marketing themselves and they send potential customers to local distributors for local fulfillment. So this approach allows them to keep a close eye on sales and also helps them evaluate and manage their distributors effectively. It's a strategy that's becoming more common as companies explore different ways to reach customers and manage their sales channels. And then the last example I want to talk about as well is selling online, but it's a bit different. It's about B2B companies. So these companies don't want to sell their products directly online because they offer personalized services and specific products. Instead, what the customer wants is to be able to pick and choose the parts they need, put them in a virtual basket as an order builder, and then get a price code. So even though it's not a traditional e-commerce setup where they can pay right away, it's still an e-commerce website. It just ends with a request for a price code instead of a payment. So this is becoming more common these days because it allows B2B companies to give the customers more control over the orders while still providing personalized services and attention to detail. And to sum up, here what we've noticed for our clients like Bluemaker and others who are expanding into international market is that having a strong website along with online marketing is like having a reliable salesperson in that market. It helps them enter the market with e-commerce and gain traction. So it's important to know that this process takes time. It's not instant, but if done correctly, it can provide a sustainable and solid return on investment. Thank you. And with that, I will hand it over to Laura from the US Commercial Services. But before that, I think we have a poll, right, Joelle?
That's right. Sorry to jump in, Laura. Just one more second before we can finally hand over to you. I'd just love to launch a very quick poll to see. We have a very engaged audience today, so I'd love to see if anyone would like to receive more information about everything that Michelle and Rita have spoken to thus far about e-commerce marketing and how those digital tools can really help you make that website, that shop, that marketplace work even harder for you, reaching your audience and then really sharing that the right message, educating them on your product so then they can go and purchase with confidence, but also make sure that they come back and then you can retarget everyone that's already been on your website. And really, you know, if you have an e-commerce website or an e-commerce shop, all of those conversions funnels, how do we make them work harder? So we have a program that's dedicated to that. We have a lot of free resources on our website as well, and we'd love to be able to share more with you guys. So if you're interested, just let us know and we'll be able to follow up. Probably not by today because we're getting a lot of requests, but you know, over the next few days, I'm sure. Excellent. Perfect. Let the poll to close. And Laura, over to you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Joelle. We value our partnership with IBT. There's numerous reasons why, but in my opinion, it's a way for us to meet more U.S. exporters through IBT's online platforms. The number of webinars and live LinkedIn events that we've done is just phenomenal, and they're wonderful people to work with besides. So I'm Laura Hellstern. I've been with the Commerce Department for 34 years and with the U.S. Commercial Service for 32 of those. For those of you online in this event who are new to our organization, the U.S. Commercial Service is the trade promotion arm of the Commerce Department's International Trade Administration. I know that's a mouthful. The Commerce Department is very big, and what we do is we help small businesses sell their goods and services internationally. We do everything we can. We do it in a myriad of ways. My particular background and education are in public relations and integrated marketing communications. Next slide, please. Today, I want to share with you 5 simple steps you can consider to reach your international sales goals. Planning, market and marketing research, web preparation, e-commerce, and then choosing other channels. The most important of these, in my opinion, is really planning. Next slide, please. Because if you don't know where you're going, how will you get there? So you need to know first, if as you're planning to do whatever you're going to do to make your company succeed, you want to know what is your company's leadership's thinking. Sometimes that's, especially for the marketing arm of companies, sometimes that's something that sort of falls by the wayside, and we just sort of, throw up things to management and say, well, we think this is, the best way to do it. But you need to know first, what leadership wants to do. Perhaps you own the business and you're the leadership, so that would make it easy. So let's say you want your company to expand into more international markets. Obviously, since I'm with the U.S. Commercial Service, I hope that's a goal. Exporting is a great way to help safeguard you in an economic downturn, which we're experiencing now, and also offset seasonal slowdowns. And you've heard a little bit about this, but more than 90% of consumers are actually outside of the United States. So the U.S. Commercial Service would like to help you get to them. Let's say your goal is, you decide your goal is to new sales in 2 markets through e-commerce. So you need to get your website in front of your target audience. You need to intersect them where they're looking for information. Essentially, you need to match your digital strategy to the audience behavior. And again, you've heard a lot about this today. Next slide, please. You can find your markets and determine consumer or audience behavior with our country commercial guides. And there's a link in the PowerPoint that is being used today. Our country commercial guides from the U.S. Commercial Service are on trade.gov under services for U.S. businesses. These are comprehensive sources of information. They're directly from our folks who work in embassies and consulates in more than 75 markets around the world. I also think that Statista, as you're looking at what countries, Statista is a terrific resource for consumer behavior data. And then, of course, the internet is has a lot of information to tell you how international consumers use digital channels and how you can reach them. Next slide, please. So let's say you figured out that China and Portugal, you've looked at the commercial guides, you think that China and Portugal are your best markets for your particular product. As you go further in, if you dig further into how Chinese consumers behave, you might find, for instance, Chinese consumers use buying personal care products like cosmetics, tend to rely on social media influencers. Whereas, say, in Portugal, there's a huge rise in consumers buying fashion items online, but this is only since the pandemic. So that's a new behavior that you might find in Statista. So you think to yourself, okay, I'm good to go in China. I've got an e-commerce site. I'm going to try social media. In Portugal, you might want to try advertising. So then you look up, well, where should I advertise? There's a magazine called, for instance, called Continente. It's the top lifestyle magazine. Next slide, please. So now you know what your markets are that are going to be part of your goal, and what marketing channels will help you intersect that audience. So you want to take a look at your existing web traffic. And what I'm getting at, why I say that really planning is such an important part of the process, is because if you don't know what your benchmarks are, like what's happening on your website now, before then you try to reach out to international consumers, you'll have trouble figuring out, is this happening? Am I really converting with international consumers? So you have to carefully, set up your e-commerce site with, and IBT can help with this, with some measurable and achievable objectives. In social media, for instance, you would want to know, okay, is this reaching am I getting more followers? Is the engagement increasing? And my, as a marketer, my advice is always, if it doesn't work, stop doing it. and try something else. And I think that's something that, sometimes we're in the US, we're so determined. And so some people keep saying, well, if I try to, if I keep trying, maybe it'll work. In marketing, that's not always the case. You have to completely, try something different. So now you might say to yourself, well, hold on here. You're saying, I've chosen social media in China, but how do I know who these influencers are? How do I internationalize my website? Well, needless to say, I'm here to tell you that the U.S. Commercial Service does many things, but one of the things that we do is we keep an eye on international markets, because we have 106 offices in the U.S. and then we have all these our colleagues. These are literally our colleagues that we work with in these 75 markets. So we say to them, okay, how's this going to work? And we have programs, we have services where, for instance, recently we did what we called a showcase, a personal care showcase in China. And we took product samples from 26 companies, US companies, and we sent them over to China. And then they were showcased at the embassy and consulate, and in a couple of different, a lot of different markets actually. And then the influencers were connected them with our U.S. companies. So our connections, our worldwide connections, were able to help that happen. We have another showcase coming up. And it's to Africa. And so we're doing much the same thing, but we're using video marketing. So basically, we're helping a lot of US companies, and they're taking videos of themselves. So they don't even have to go anywhere or send any products anywhere. They are just going to take, we're helping them get videos done through Microsoft Teams. It could not be easier. And then we're going to send these videos to our folks at the embassy and consulate, and they will show them to buyers in Africa, again, personal care products. So things like that. Also, we have what's called our e-commerce globalization review and gap analysis. And that's done by our folks in California. One of our offices in California does this, and also they train people around the country. So there's a number of people around the country in local offices, say, and I don't exactly know which offices they are, but it might be in Peoria, it might be Chicago, it might be Boston, but they can do website globalization reviews. And so if you have an e-commerce site, or you want to have an e-commerce site, you can work with us in IBT Online and our e-commerce solutions center, and figure out, well, what might I be doing wrong? Which brings me, next slide, please, to a checklist. There are many things that you should, be careful of, and this is just a handful, which IBT will tell you. You have to make sure that website, as you just saw in Geeta's presentation, that website has got to resonate with the international audience, and that is the most important thing. Always remember your audience. So in the end, we have the commercial service has numerous resources to help you find markets, figure out who your audience is, get information, improve your website, and figure out the right channel combination to promote your product and international customers. So I will leave you with this. Make sure you know what you want and know where you want to go so you get there. Always rely on the U.S. Commercial Service and measure those objectives, make them achievable and measurable. I just realized our website, on the PowerPoint, you do not have the web page to connect with your local U.S. Commercial Service office. So remember this web page. And perhaps Geeta or Joelle, if that can go into the chat somehow. It's trade.gov/commercial-service-offices-US, and you'll find an office in the city near you. That's it. Thank you very much.
Laura, thank you so much. That is fantastic. And I actually think that the team had a very small poll, unless I am wrong here. I might be standing corrected and straight to the Q&A, but just very much to ask that question. If you guys are in touch with your ITA or local representative, if not, if you'd like for them to get in touch with you, if you have any further question for Laura and the team and you'd like to be put in contact directly, do let us know and we'll pass them over to yourself, Laura, and you can get in touch directly with them over the next few days. So we have that there for you guys as well. That's fantastic. Perfect. 2 more seconds. Awesome. I think we've covered a lot today, and we had just a couple of, in terms of takeaways and next steps that I wanted to just run through, and then we'll dive into Q&As. Very briefly, why do US exporters need online business tools? I think Michelle, Laura, and Rita have highlighted this several times over the past 45 minutes. The world is online. This is crucial, arguably today more than ever, really, really important, especially if you are in the e-commerce space. But even as we've seen, e-commerce could mean a lot of different things. Could be buying from the website, could be redirecting your buyers to your local distributors, your local channel partner, anyone in market, or even if you just want to use your website as a quote builder, you must be online. People are researching online, people are engaging online. So this makes it paramount to have not only a very strong website, but also to make sure that you have the right marketing tools to really make that work as hard as they should. Your website should be your best performing sales rep. They are online 24/7. They're always there. They have all the content that your sales rep would have. Use your website and use digital tools to direct people to your website. Use content, use videos, use social media. All of that that resonates with your audience is there to be leveraged. So we always say, respect your local buyer persona. If you're going international, make sure that you are on the channels that they care the most, using the keywords that they would be searching. We say go global often means, and this might sound like a step backward, but go local. Engage in the local way. And this could be even regional. If you're talking, the US is a big market, there is some very big differences, across the states and across geographies. So go global, go local, go online. Fantastic. Just wanted to share, as per, if we can skip to, again, we have the event series that Laura mentioned with the ITA and US Commercial Service. So you can find out all of the information on both websites. So whether you're speaking to Laura, speaking by IBT Online, we have live streams and webinars coming up that discuss all different aspects of digital exports and online. And you can find out more success stories if you want to hear more from great exporter success or e-commerce successes like Michelle. We have a lot of success stories on our website. You can go and check them out. We have videos because no one wants to read the full blog, but we also have those if you don't have time to watch the video and you're on the go and you want to read it. So go and check them out and let us know if you have any questions. And the best way to do that, if you have any questions at all, please do feel free. We have a very handy QR code here. The links and everything will be in your inbox over the next couple of days, but we have different ways for you to get in touch. Please don't hesitate. There is absolutely no commitment. We'd love to talk more about digital, what the program could do, what the US Commercial Services can help you with. We can put you in touch with Michelle if you have any specific question. And sorry, Michelle, I'm volunteering here more of your time, but you've been so kind today to take us through your experience. We've seen so many questions come through. I don't want to delay it any further. We have 5 minutes left on today's hour, and I'd love to jump, if that's okay, team in the background, to our Q&A. We've done our best to try and combine and curate some questions and trying to find some themes. So maybe one question for yourself, Michelle. A lot of people are starting to ask on your slides, we had so many different platforms, you had social media, you had videos, you had the website. Do you need to start all of that at the same time? Or, what is the necessity? How do we choose what platform to leverage? What's your experience or your recommendation?
Okay. No, you do not need to start everything at the same time. I think just as Laura said, planning is so important. Depending on the products that you're selling, I think that you should, if you can't answer those questions yourself, what you probably will have is a budget and a timeline. And I would say speak to your partners, your online marketing partners, to figure out what comes first. I had a trainer one time and he loved to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that is how you should approach this as well. Some bites are easily consumed and others take a little bit to chew on. But do that. Speak to the people who are in the know to be able to decide what you want to do when. We didn't start with videos because none of us had time enough to decide, to stop what we're doing to start filming videos. We started with the easier things, the social media, the instant pieces first. So I would encourage you to do that first.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Michelle. Question for Laura, I believe. Several of our audiences have asked different questions around the fact, are the international websites and this program eligible for any financial help, STEP grants? How does it work?
Well, STEP grants, it depends on the state that you're in. And so they're administered by the Small Business Administration, and then they get, given to the states and to the local organizations. So again, if we can give everybody the website to go to their local office, because our local offices around the country know exactly which STEP grants are available and what they're available for to use. I believe that website globalization, that service is is eligible for STEP grants, but it could depend definitely on the state.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. We also have information on the state contact details. If you want to check out the IBT Online partners page, then you'll find out a little bit more about who to contact. And a lot of our online global programs are supported by the states, but absolutely, as you say, Laura, always best to check with your ITA and your local trade manager and or IBT Online. Please do get in touch if you have any doubts, and we can help you get in touch with the best person to help. One last question, maybe this one is for yourself, Rita. You talked about different things, one of which being SEO keywords, and that seems to have stirred a fair few questions, and it's a term that scares a lot of people. Basically, what is your recommendation? Where do we start? If you have a website and you've never done any SEO, where to start?
Well, for SEO ranking and organic visibility, there's no secret. You have to start by conducting a keyword research. You have to understand what terms your target audience is searching for. So optimize your website elements that includes the meta titles, the descriptions, the headers, the content. You also have to focus on creating high quality relevant content. For example, blogs, videos, etc., that provides a value to your audience, and it will help with the engagement as well. I would also recommend on investing in building quality backlinks from reputable website in your industry. And that will help with the authority of the search through search engines. And make sure your website is mobile friendly as well. That loads quickly, that enhances your user experience, and that improves rankings as well. And lastly, I would recommend to often monitor your site's performance using a tool that one of my colleagues in the background will share with you in the chat. So it's free. You just have to complete a form, and basically that will help you understand where your website stands in an SEO point of view first before making any changes.
That's fantastic. And look at that. Perfect on the hour. I just want to take one more minute to really say a big thank you to Michelle, Laura, and Rita for the great presentation today, and for everyone who's joined us and stuck with us for the full hour. I've mentioned to a couple of you in the chat, the recording with the slide deck, as you see here on the screen, will be in your inbox over the next couple of days. So keep an eye out for that. If you responded to any of the polls, we will be in touch with the information. If you walk away today and you have any further question, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We have the emails here. You can respond to the email that you receive, and then IBT Online will have direct your question to the best person we've had here today. But all I can say is thank you so much. We hope to see you online at one of our events in future again soon. And have a fantastic afternoon. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye for now.